Hello there, friends, and welcome to episode 78 of That One Gaming Podcast. My name is Colin, but I'm otherwise known as Delicious Morsels, and here with me today is Lucas, aka Carn Evil 9. How is Lucas doing today?
I'm doing all right.
All right, and we've also got Neal here, better known as VMK89. How is Neal today?
I'm doing pretty swell.
Swell indeed. If you are new to this podcast, welcome. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, or one of the many other podcasting platforms out there where the three of us get together every other week to talk about a variety of topics in the world of gaming. Today on the show, we are talking all about tutorials. Over the years, games have adopted many approaches to teach people how to play, from detailed manuals to fairies hovering around your head prodding at you to listen. In this episode, we will discuss some of the best and worst tutorials that we have come across over the years. But before we get into that, we'd like to talk about the games that we have been playing since the last episode. So Lucas, what have you been playing?
Well, I have been continuing my playthrough of Final Fantasy II. Or is it 4?
Or is it 5?
Yeah, we're still not sure what number it is. Anyways, I beat another Final Fantasy game.
Let's go!
Yeah, pretty good. I enjoyed
It's
it.
a good game.
Yeah.
It's a very good game.
And then to, give myself a little bit of palate cleanse from menu navigation simulator game, I dipped into Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 for a little bit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There's a Mortal Kombat movie sequel coming out, apparently, according to trailers.
There is. I know nothing about it because I haven't seen the movie that it is a sequel to.
Okay. Me neither, so...
Yeah, mostly the only Mortal Kombat movie that I have seen most of the way through is Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which is the sequel to the 90s Mortal Kombat movie.
Mm-hmm.
So in 90s video game movie fashion, it is incredibly campy.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. The difficulty of the fights and the arcade ladders in UMK3 is brutal, even on the easiest of difficulties.
Oof.
Tried out more or less just two characters, Sector and Smoke. And I managed to get to the third fight in the novice ladder on very easy with them. Which is yeah, it's rough. But also this is a fighting game that I grew up occasionally playing the Genesis version of UMK3 over at my cousin Justin's house every once in a while, because they live on the other side of the state. So, yeah, it was never a game, growing up, I really got to put a bunch of time into, so I'm not great at it still. But also, it's one of those makes me feel or question all of my fighting game skills that I've developed since on other games, but also I'm more accustomed to the Arc System Works anime fighter / Capcom 6-button fighter type games than I am the Mortal Kombat setup with the low punch, low kick, high kick, run and block buttons. So it's still a 6-button fighter, but 2 of the buttons are doing things that I'm used to doing in a different way. So there's going to be a bit of adjustment if I continue working towards learning characters. But I mean, who doesn't love Mortal Kombat? So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Nice.
You didn't talk about Skyrim. You said you were playing Skyrim.
Everybody is playing Skyrim.
Yep.
We are living Skyrim. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, Neal, what have you been playing?
I have also been playing a bit of Final Fantasy II, mostly just in my spare time at work more than anything. I really need to sit down and play it at home for a while so I can actually get somewhere.
Yeah.
Tap mode is
pretty
very
good.
nice for work. I can turn off encounters if I don't want to do that. I can just do tap mode, and once I'm in a battle, just hit auto battle. Pixel Master on the phone is not bad at all. So I don't think this came up until after our last episode. You can now switch to the pixelated font in the mobile versions instead of the very Arial narrow looking font that's in the game normally that people hated. But the pixel font, because it's not a narrow font, is not great on an iPhone screen. Like in the menu where it says configuration, it's the size of the font is so small so they could fit it in, and you kind of have to squint a bit, which is not good on an iPhone when you're already pretty dang close to it.
Yeah, on a screen that small, I can definitely see that being an issue.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad on the Switch, but also the Switch has got a much larger screen than the phone.
Right. Yep. But yeah. No. So far, I'm enjoying it. I was spoiled about Kane, but honestly, I'm not sure exactly who he's betraying. Spoilers. Kane's magic card is. Hold on, give me a second. What is it? Rifle.
Yeah, you're gonna find a lot of those in the Final Fantasy set.
Yeah, I mostly tried to avoid Final Fantasy IV, but Griffin was playing a Kane deck last weekend at Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Kane Traitorous Dragoon, and people gave me enough conflicting information that I'm not sure if traitorous means the king or traitorous to your party. I imagine it's traitorous to your party, but I don't want any hints at all. Please do not. Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But no. There are so many. I mean, they couldn't make the set without spoiling everything, obviously.
Right.
But
Yes. Right.
but there's two Final Fantasy 13 cards that combine into a massive plot spoiler for Final Fantasy 13, and I opened both of those in my box that I opened. And I was like, wow, this is gonna spoil a major plot point in Final Fantasy 13 for a lot of people.
Right. It's like Melee with Sheik. Or was it Brawl? But like where you could transform into Sheik, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
well, that gives that away. Yeah.
Whoops.
But yeah, no. Final Fantasy 2. So far so fun, so good. What else have I been playing? I left my Switch at our friend's house, which is fine because I can't get distracted from it and play it other than my iPhone. So, but I have been dinking around a little bit in an emulator with my save file of Sonic Advance 3 from our last that one game. I managed to get all the Chow in the first zone, Route 99. And also in the act where I got my last Chow, I happened to cross one of the keys, which is generally how it is. It's super easy to get keys, even though it sounds like it's this whole extra thing you have to do. You pretty much play another act to get another key. You're going to happen across one. But I also took on the special stage because I had that key. And I got the Chaos Emerald first try. Those special stages are not as bad as any of the three previous special stages. Well, I don't know. Some people argue that Sonic Advance 2 has easy special stages, but I'm always kind of terrible at it. But yeah, no. On my original Game Boy copy, I got the first 6 emeralds on my own as a kid. So I much prefer that game's version of getting Chaos Emeralds of all the advanced games, for sure. But yeah, that's mostly it. I played a tad bit of Last Legacy, which is the follow-up to Super Mario 63. I had made a level in the level designer that's a tutorial thing, because that's what we're talking about today. So I quick shared that. I don't know if there's a way you can play Last Legacy easily because it's a Flash game. But if you can get your hands on a version of Last Legacy, it's a good time. But yeah, that's about it. Colin, what have you been playing?
Chaos.
Chaos.
I've been playing Chaos. Yeah, so you
Oh.
remember the last episode I said that I've been playing games co-op with Jazzy a couple nights a week. Usually just a night. But yeah, so we started Stranger of Paradise. And Chaos. There's so much chaos. Chaos is real. I knew it. This game is amazing. This game is very bad kind of way. But like the gameplay is great. But like the story and the characters are every bit as bad as the meme suggests, but it's like so bad that you're like, I love this. It's very good. There's literally a line where you're about to fight Lich, the Earth Fiend from the original Final Fantasy, because Stranger of Paradise is kind of like a weird retelling of the original Final Fantasy, but then it's also not, but it is. It's complicated. But anyway, so you meet up with Lich and you're like about to fight him, and he's going over his whole spiel about how him and his friends are gonna destroy the world and all this jazz, and like he's in the middle of talking about who he is and what he is, and Jack just runs up and he's like, I don't give up who you are, and punches him right in the face. And that is this game in a nutshell. And I love it.
Is that when Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit starts playing?
No, that was much earlier. That's much earlier in the game, actually. But yeah, the co-op experience actually though is really, really good, and it supports up to 3 players to play. We've just been playing with the 2 of us and having AI control the 3rd character. But yeah, there was one night where we were playing and the game glitched out and we got locked in a load screen right at the final checkpoint before the boss on that level we were playing.
No.
We were like, no. So we're like, okay, well, let's just back out and go back in. And we were able to pick up right from that last checkpoint, like with co-op and everything. And we just went and fought the boss. It was like, whoa, that was kind of impressive, actually. Because the way it handles co-op is you're supposed to create like a separate like co-op room, basically. Like the host creates a room. The other people that want to play co-op join. The host selects the mission, and then you start the mission from there, as opposed to just picking it from the in-game menu itself. So we were kind of worried. It's like, well, are we just going to kind of lose progress because we were playing this co-op, or how is that going to work? But yeah, it just worked. We just reloaded the save and it continued from where we left off. But there's also a bunch of like really funny jank in this game, especially when it comes to water. So your character can't swim in this game. So if you fall in water, it just kind of teleports you back out and you take a little bit of damage. It's kind of like one of those deals. But if you push an enemy into water, they die. And this works on any enemy. So there's mini bosses that we have pushed into water and killed them. There are like flying enemies that if you knock them down and they happen to fall into water instead of on land, they die. It's hilarious. And you still get the experience and everything from them all as well. It's so bad, but it's so funny. It's like there was this griffin enemy that we were fighting, and I just kept whacking it until it fell off the edge of the platform we were on into some water, and it just died. That was it. That was the end of the fight. Like griffins are normally, I mean, they're kind of a step up from the regular enemy fodder that you fight in a level. Like, they take a little bit of strategy to take them down. Like, they're not going to melt in a couple hits. So you just knocked him in the water. That was that. I pushed the Tomberry into the water. It died. It was great. Stranger of Paradise is a really fun game, actually. So, yeah, there's that. If you're looking for a fun co-op game to play where you just don't have to care about any story at all, you just want to play a fun co-op game, Stranger of Paradise is actually a great game for that. But that's not all I have played, because I have also been playing Final Fantasy 2 times 2, or if you have struggle with math, Final Fantasy 4. Yeah, I've just played through that entire game last weekend. The whole thing.
Hell yeah.
All of it. I beat it in 11 hours.
Jeez. Good lord.
How did I do that, do you ask? Well, the Pixel remaster is really good.
Yes.
I just turned on the 4X experience boost, the 4X money boost, and then I just ripped through that game. Like, I mean, I've already beaten other versions of it in the past. I beat the 3D version a couple years ago, which, like, common consensus is that's actually the most difficult version of the game you can play. So, I mean, I'm not out here looking to earn any gamer cred by beating a game with, like, quote, as intended or anything like that. I just wanted to play through it as a story refresher, and that was the only Pixel remaster I haven't played yet, so... But yeah, it was really good. Final Fantasy IV remains one of my favorite games in the franchise. It's fantastic. The Pixel remaster is an amazing way to play it. Highly recommend it. We might talk about this game more in-depthly later, maybe.
Sure seems like an awfully weird coincidence. We've all played through that game recently.
Yeah, it is kind of strange. That doesn't usually happen unless there's, I don't know, something
reason
happening. Maybe.
With 3 initials.
Mm-hmm.
It might happen. Anyway, that's what I've been playing. It's time for
It's time.
listeners.
Which is incredibly fitting this week.
Hey, listen. Each episode, we ask our Discord members a prompt based on the topic of the episode for them to respond to. And if you are listening and you would like to join that fun, there's a link to the Discord down below. I fixed it. And we hope to see you there to join and have questions asked for you to answer and stuff. I don't know. Anyway, our first writing comes from Crystal Lily, who writes, Undertale is a good example of tutorials because the prompt was just asking for favorite examples of tutorials. Forgot to mention that. Anyway, Crystal Lily continues. The entire start with tutorial is a tutorial in itself. Plus the bit with Flowey kind of starts out Flowey?
It's the flower guy. It's called Flowy, not Flower.
Oh. I've not played Undertale, so I am unfamiliar. Plus the bit with Flowey kind of starts out as a shock for unsuspecting players. I haven't played it in some time, but in my opinion, it's one of the most memorable ones. And our next writing comes from Jazzy, who writes, in general, my favorite type of tutorials are the ones where you are super strong and you have all your endgame abilities, then have them stripped away and you have to spend the whole game building them back up. The biggest ones that come to mind are God of War 2 and 3, Metroid Prime, and to a lesser extent, Star Wars The Force Unleashed. I think these do a great job showing you how badass your character is and gives you something to look forward to as you progress through the game. I will never forget my first time booting up God of War 2 and fighting through roads using your fully leveled weapons and magic, and then fighting the Colossus throughout the city. Or starting The Force Unleashed and getting to play as Vader on Kashyyyk, and seeing how impressive the physics were when you force pushed 20 wikis off of a suspended bridge. But also, it wouldn't be a Hey Listeners segment if I didn't mention Kingdom Hearts, would it? Special shout out to the Dive to the Heart sections of the Kingdom Hearts games. Those are the areas where you're on various stained glass windows. The stained glass art is some of the game's most iconic imagery I can think of. You're in this dark abyss with nothing but a glowing floor with art of you, your friends, or Disney princesses to guide your way. There's a disembodied voice explaining game mechanics and prompting you to make decisions on weapons to accept or give up with no explanation. As much a mystery to Sora as it is the player, and culminating in an incredible first boss fight against the imposing dark side with the quote, "The closer you get to the light, the greater your shadow becomes," is just chef's kiss. Thank
Mwah.
you for your write-ins, everybody. Now it's time for the topic of the show. Tutorials. Hey, listen. We got tutorials to talk about. Hey, listen.
I am. I'm currently listening.
Are you?
I don't know.
Are you? I don't think you're listening.
Writhing in
I told you.
agony with the appearance of every text box.
I told you. Hey, listen.
Did you get all that? No? Yes?
I'm going to move the cursor from where it was last time so you can't mash through it. So you can make sure you get it. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, stupid owl.
Please,
Stupid
no.
frickin' owl.
Yeah.
Condescending little jerk. Always flying around, hooting everywhere.
Yep. And you can't forget Navi popping up every 2 seconds in Great Deku Tree.
Uh-huh.
Did you know you can read that by clicking on it? Did you know you can click on that to read it?
Did you know that by pressing X, you can perform a spin attack?
That's great. I've been playing through this game since I was in like 4th grade. Can we stop? They grow tiresome after a while. Going back to older games is always kind of a I just want to get through the tutorial and get on with the actual game sort of deal.
Yeah, I would definitely say I'm going to be referencing sequelitis a bit here, I'm sure.
Yeah,
But
me too, probably.
there's definitely a lot more of tutorials once games made the jump to 3D, because suddenly you need to control a lot more. 64 had the Super Mario 64 had the Lakitu dude
Yeah.
talking about camera controls. Obviously, Navi in Ocarina of Time.
Yep. I guess similarly Tattle and Majora's Mask, but at least Tattle was introduced some comic relief into it with her incredibly large amount of sass.
Right.
Navi was just having an encyclopedia talk at you.
Right. Yeah, when they started giving them like personalities, they got a lot better. I'm thinking, what's her name? Goombella in Thousand Year Door, Paper Mario.
Yeah.
What else sucked? I'd say Tikal doesn't necessarily fall into that in Sonic Adventure. Tikal was actually kind of clever since she was part of the story and it made sense that she was helping you.
Yep.
But Oma Chow, they didn't have Tikal anymore. Oma Chow was just this little robot Chow guy that would sit around and be like, "Hey, if you press A, or no, if you press B in front of a line of rings, you'll do the lightspeed dash."
Yeah. Omochow almost immediately comes to mind when I think of video game tutorials.
Tutorials, yeah, up there with Navi.
Yeah. It doesn't help that the ROM hacking community is sort of like placed him upon the pedestal through, I think it's Sonic 2 Omochow edition.
That sounds right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Where you're supposed. Is it every time you get an item, there's an Omochow pop up? I think.
Yep.
I want to say that's what it is. Yeah, but each time you collect another item, the amount of times the fanfare plays increases by 1. So, like the first item, you get 1 fanfare, which is a decently long fanfare. and you can't do anything while it's going on. Second item, 2 fanfares. Once those are over, then you can keep playing. 3 items, your third item, and 3 fanfares, etc. If you want to get the game done in any reasonable amount of time, you have to avoid touching item boxes and rings.
Yep.
It's awful.
Yeah, they definitely went above and beyond with like that.
Mm-hmm. Sonic Team was definitely in on the joke, though. Even in Sonic Adventure 2, where they introduced him, since you could pick up lots of characters and there's pick-upable items in the game, you could pick up Omochao and throw him however far you want, including off cliffs, into water, into pits. By Shadow the Hedgehog, once you had guns, they made a gun called the Omochao gun that fired Omochaos at your enemy.
Oh no. Well, yeah. Since you briefly mentioned sequelitis, I suppose we should probably
Yes.
like
Yep.
address that to some degree.
Yes.
There is I don't know, there was a lot of specifically Ego Raptors sequelitis for tutorial levels that rang true for me personally. Like, I'm not big on the whole like dedicated tutorial, and much sort of prefer the older game standby of like sort of throw the game mechanic at the player and have them sort of play around with it instead of giving a guided explanation of how it works, like the wall jumping in Mega Man X in the tutorial stage, or the various game mechanics introduced to you by the Edacoons and the Dakora in Super Metroid. Much to Colin's disdain for wall jumping.
It's awful.
It's not.
It is.
Did you at least figure out how to Shine Spark? Did the Dakora teach you how to Shine Spark good?
I think yeah, shine sparking wasn't an issue for me in Super. It was just the wall jumping.
Yeah.
Our back is sequelitis. It's very early YouTube.
Yeah.
We're looking at 13 years ago for sequelitis Mega Man, 14 for the Castlevania ones. Oh, I don't think that's official. Ripe old year of 2011, the Mega Man X sequelitis came up. Yeah, that's 14 years ago. Blech.
Yeah.
That's the year you graduated, Lucas?
It's 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel old now. Well, older. Here I am, sitting on my couch in the living room instead of in my office chair because I threw out my back at work.
Oh no.
Yeah. Tutorials, when they are well done, I don't mind, because then it just feels like it's another part of the gameplay. But
Right.
once you get pulled out of the action and dropped into a dedicated area to like demonstrate this new game mechanic that we are introducing to you, and then plopping you back where you were, sort of thing. If I remember correctly, I think Doom Eternal had a couple features like that, which, yeah, that I don't want to say I want to give it a slot or a pass because it's Doom and I love Doom, but yeah, don't care for that style of tutorial.
What was I thinking of? As for bad ones, shoot, I haven't played Pokemon, but I've heard enough complaints. Is it Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon that have a ridiculous tutorial section?
Oh, both.
Both.
They said they fixed it for. They said they fixed it for the Ultras, but I beg to differ. It's still bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Sun and Moon, or the beginning of Pokemon Sun, Pokemon Moon was incredibly bad. Like it was bad enough that I actually got bored and stopped playing like halfway through the beginning section of that game because it had been like
Oh, that's rough.
felt like 20 minutes or so of just reading through text, and I still
What
hadn't
the
gotten to
hell?
my starter yet. Like,
Oh
this
my
is,
god.
what am I doing?
Pokemon just in general has had kind of long tutorials, which made sense in the first couple games, but like for
Yeah,
longtime players, it's like, yes, I know you're the Pokemon professor. Yes, I know this world is inhabited by tiny fat rats. So
yeah,
they need a skip button.
yeah.
I want to say one of them gives you a choice.
Like
Is it like Soul Silver and Soul, whatever the other version is? Soul Silver.
Heart Gold.
Thank you. It gives you a choice of like um, I'm familiar with the world of Pokemon, so you get a much shorter tutorial.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm making this up. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played Heart Gold or Soul Silver. I don't remember. I've actually only played Heart Gold Soul Silver once, and guess what that was for? Monobug.
Nice.
Yeah, Monobug in Heart Gold Soul Silver didn't feel nearly as rewarding as Monobug in Crystal, just because the bugs are so much in sort of worse in the originals. Yeah, yeah, yeah. At least for me personally, I think a lot of the problems with tutorials in games revolve around like if it is a sequel, then it has to sort of recap all of the game mechanics you were introduced to in the last game that you are
Right.
still probably familiar with.
If you played or the previous game, yeah, that is kind of an issue. Like, I mean, that's just kind of how media is to some degree.
Yeah.
Of like, you watch a sequel to the movie, and they're like, well, you might not have seen the first one.
Yeah. Or how like every modern superhero movie that is a new introduces a new
God.
hero usually has to go through the origin story for the character, which, I'm
Hmm.
sure everyone familiar with the comic book content or the source content is familiar with. So it's
Uh
like
huh.
it's gonna bore the
Yeah.
existing fans, but it's going to get the new or the new initiates sort up to speed.
Yeah. I do appreciate what is that one called? Spider-Man Homecoming, the first one of the MCU, for not doing an origin story, considering there had been two origin stories before in the previous decade.
Yep,
Um
with the
Plus
Sam
a
Raimi and
bajillion
the
Spider-Man shows.
yeah,
So
yeah,
at that point, people knew what Spider-Man was, but like anybody else, pretty much no.
hmm
Like they even had to sort of put a little bit of like origin in Avengers for Incredible Hulk because that movie wasn't watched much.
yeah, and they recast Bruce Banner from
Indeed.
the Incredible Hulk and the Avengers. So
Hmm. Yeah, that definitely contributed to it.
yeah, uh,
Trying to think if there's any example of that in gaming of like everybody knows how to play this game, so we don't need a tutorial. I really don't think there is. Like even Mario gives
yeah,
you tutorials for the most part.
a little
A
bit,
lot of
yeah.
times those are skippable in a Mario Kart or a Mario Kart too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mario
Or
Kart might just throw you in.
yeah. Yeah. There there's also like tutorial by means of doing like a short introductory stage,
Mm-hmm.
which
Like Mega Man X style
yeah,
or
kind of my preferred tutorial cuz yeah, like
uh-huh.
Mega Man X gives you a short intro level to kind of figure out what you're doing with the basics of the game
Mm-hmm.
going
Yeah,
into
it's
the
often
rest of the game or Mega Man 7 does that too. Um
right.
there's
Yeah.
Sarah Station and Super Metroid. Um, Jazzy mentioned this in our Hey Listeners section. The space pirate frigate at the beginning of Metroid Prime.
Yeah. I mean,
That
Metroid
comes-
in general does that sort of like stripping your powers after having all your powers, so you learn what to do, what you
Yeah,
can do, and then it scales back.
yeah.
Um, what's the interstage
Especially with
action?
Metroid Prime, where you start with the Variasuit and the Morph Ball and missiles
Mm-hmm.
and the grappling or grapple hook and
Mm-hmm.
the charge beam, and then you lose all of that and you get dumped onto Talon 4 with the power
Just your
suit
pea sugar.
and the power
Yeah.
beam.
But yeah, what was I gonna say? I do definitely think the introductory stages are the best way to do it. And whoops, dropped my drink. Like when they make it in a way that like if you know how to play, you can like speed through it and avoid some of the tutorials. Like if it's made really well. Um, Mega Man X is definitely an example of that.
Yep. I want to call out the oddly specific case of Mega Man X5 where it both has a tutorial, but then it also does the like traditional Mega Man X intro stage.
Interesting.
Um,
Huh.
yeah, it has a completely separate from the main game tutorial stage that you can select from the
Okay.
start menu.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna bring up Sonic Heroes because that has a similar thing as well, where you do a very, very basic intro stage with Team Sonic, and Omachow is all over the place in that
Oh,
tutorial.
it has been
Yeah.
years since I've played Sonic Heroes last, but oh my, just unearthed a memory that I probably would want to forget.
Yeah,
Mostly
don't
because
play
it's
the tutorial
Omocow.
in that game. Yeah, don't play the tutorial in that game. There's enough of it like help throughout that game just with characters constantly talking.
Yeah, nag tutorials are not great.
Mhm. I know Sonic Generations, I forget if it starts on or not. I think it defaults to being off, but Sonic Generations can have Omachow all over the place if you choose.
Hmm.
Don't do that. Um, he pops up no matter what. Uh, in certain places, which is the loading screens. Which personally, I think that's okay. Like, and it's not like voiced; it's just text on the screen while it's loading. So you can ignore that. But also like it is just stuff that are like, oh, okay, I didn't know that was going to be a thing in this level. Like it prepares you for the light speed dash in Generations, because it only shows up in the adventure stages.
Hmm.
So yeah, um, of the kind of nagging type, that's the best is on the loading screen. Um, Usually games go by the like controller diagram on the loading screen though. Um,
Yeah,
I can't think of a
that
specific game that does that, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Like
I
picture of
do, and it like digging up a quirk that I've seen in some games where like instead of like say it's a game with voice acting, the character will or the character that is talking giving you the like tutorial instead of saying press whatever applicable buttons on the controller layout that you are playing on, like if you're on PlayStations, like press the square button to do this. They
Mhm.
instead say press these buttons to do this.
Oh,
Just
so
Oh,
like in Metal
interesting.
Gear Solid, press the action button.
yeah,
Right.
that sort of thing. Where they like give a generic call out to what button on the controller to push instead of specifying which controller button.
Yeah, I think in Metal Gear Solid's case, though, during that conversation, like the dialogue will actually show the button glyph, but they'll say like press the action button.
Yes, that sort of thing.
Yeah, at least I think that's how it is. It's been a while since I played Metal Gear Solid.
That sounds right. There's
Yeah,
definitely games that do that.
Yeah,
Just the multi-platform ones
yeah.
do that a lot because they don't want to record 3 variations.
One
Yeah.
kind of tutorial that I don't think we've really touched on yet is something that a lot of action games tend to do, especially like I'm thinking of like the Yakuza series in specific, but there's the kind of checklist tutorial where it's basically like your combat tutorial is broken up into smaller sections that are all centered around a specific function in the combat. Like you'll have
Oh.
like perform a light attack 5 times, perform a heavy attack 5 times, block 3 times, sort of thing. And you had to like do all of the things in the checklist before the tutorial progresses. And that's a
Yeah.
pretty effective way of kind of getting your basic like combat functionality and stuff ingrained in your brain without like putting too much on the player at once.
Yeah.
And like usually in those situations, you're put in a place where you can't die if you keep messing up and stuff. So you just kind of keep going until you figure it out.
Yeah. Blaze Blue, I think all 4 of them really, has something similar to that in their like practice training mode with specifically like game tutorial of
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, that's
sort of
definitely
like
a fighting
beginner,
game thing too.
intermediate, expert sort of breakdown of fighting game mechanics basically.
Yeah, Minecraft does that to a degree nowadays. Like OG Minecraft, they just throw you in and say good luck. But like Minecraft nowadays will have like pop-ups in the corner being like punch wood, make a crafting table, make a wooden pick, mine stone, that sort of thing. And that's nice too because you can just ignore that and do whatever you want to do if you already know the game.
Yeah.
And Stranger of Paradise kind of had a bit of a checklisty tutorial too, where you're in this giant field of flowers and there's goblins spawning in, and it tells you a few things that you can do at a time, and then you do those things like 3 or 5 times, all while listening to Frank Sinatra. Stranger of Paradise is a great game. But yeah, I find those like of the more intrusive tutorial styles, I find those to be the least egregious, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, I definitely
Like-
agree.
Like even in the cases where like you can't progress until you finish this tutorial, like at least like it's got like a specific like list for you to perform and stuff.
It's like those are the sort of tutorials that are easiest for me to mentally disconnect out of the regular gameplay, like if it's introduced as part of the regular gameplay. Just because at that point it goes from we're telling you how to do this so that you can do this and continue through the game, and it's more of like you're training now. Start practicing.
Yeah, and like in the Yakuza games in particular, it's like the first fight in every single game is always going to be like that combat tutorial and stuff, and it's just like it's not really like breaking the flow of gameplay so much as it is just kind of like reframing it into a tutorial.
Yeah.
And plus, it's fun sometimes to just like ignore the tutorial and just wail on the enemies because until you complete that checklist, the battle doesn't actually progress and the enemies just recover their health no matter how many times you knock them out. So you can just sit there and wail on them for like 5-10 minutes. It's like, who cares?
Yeah. And yeah, some of the Blaze Blue training lessons will have that sort of thing in it where like they're giving you tutorial or like a specific setup to learn one specific mechanic, but they give you full meter, so it's like you get frustrated because you haven't managed to hit the thing that you're trying to accomplish for the checklist. So you can just start wailing on the practice dummy with all your special moves with full meter that auto recovers. Or I guess kind of subsequently, you can sort of cheese those sometimes because they do give you full meter, and sometimes doing one of your distortion drives will like hit the right thing the right way for it to clear that. without actually doing it the way they intended you.
Talked about Pokemon a bit. Thinking of that, of like technically in those battles where you fight your rival for the first time, like you can get criticals and do way better, but it's generally rigged in a way that like no matter what you can't lose that fight.
Yeah.
Oh, you can.
You can.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you
Generally
can.
you can't.
Yeah.
Generally you can't.
Oh, you definitely can.
As a matter of fact, it was a mechanic in Pokemon Yellow that determined what your rival's Eevee evolved into. Was based
Oh,
on
really?
wins or loses against the rival.
Interesting. Well, I mean the first rival game. The first rival battle when it's just
Oh, yeah.
you with your
Yeah.
Pikachu.
Yep.
Yuki still there? Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
Okay.
have lost that fight many times.
Yep.
It's still all RNG at the end of the day.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You can lose that fight and it will continue on.
Yep.
no, huh?
Yep.
I believe you can also lose against rival 1A in Pokemon Yellow and still continue on.
I feel like if you lost to what's his name? Dick Butt. Gary Oak. If you lose to Gary Oak, you might as well just reset and try again. Like why wouldn't you do that?
Because then you have to go through all the text to get there.
I am
again.
the Pokemon prof, and this world is inhabited
Yep.
by tiny fat rats. Right. Fair enough. Yeah. But yeah, no, I was going to bring up other RPGs having tutorials. One of the ones that comes to mind first is Superstar Saga. I don't know if you guys have played that. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
It's been years.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me too.
That game has a lot of tutorials because like you learn so many bros moves and how to use them on the field and how to use them in battle. Unfortunately, it breaks up those bros moves by like you meet what are they called? Like the Starshade Bros, and there's quite a bit of game, and then you meet the Hammerhead Bros later. It's spaced out quite a bit because like it unlocks abilities, so you're able to expand the map more like a Link to the Past kind of thing. But yeah, it the tutorials are at least spaced out, but each one is very long and they're very particular about here is where you press A. They'll like freeze the battle so that you learn the timing. It is like Paper Mario with the timed button presses, but it's turned up a ton in that game, and it's got some rough tutorials. The other one I was thinking of, Mother 3 tutorial stage is very, very quick.
Yeah.
And that one, could
so
you
quick
lose that one?
The tutorial is so quick that I forgot that there really is a sort of tutorial in that game to begin with.
Yep. It's so very quick.
Yeah, it is. Oh, that's the prologue chapter where Lucas and Klaus fight the mole cricket, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
They're hanging out with the Dragos, play fighting, and then our mole cricket comes up and it's like, I'm a bug, but I'm gonna kill you guys. It's gonna be amazing. And then you kill the bug.
Yep.
Or you knock him out, and then your mom walks over him. Then he's dead.
Yep.
It's like the equivalent of the intro to Earthbound, except you're the one who kills the bug.
Yep.
But they also throw in the save mechanic too. How to teach that. Alec just stops and looks at the screen and is like, also, if you want to save, talk to frogs.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a long tutorial in an RPG?
Oh, are we going there?
Are we?
I don't know. What are you thinking?
Talk about Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yep. Lord.
The first 3 hours of the game is tutorial.
Right?
But like at the same time I didn't hate it. Like I don't know. I like Roxas, so it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And to be kind of honest, I was a little bit sad when I wasn't playing as him anymore in that game.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it was great to be playing as Sora again, but like, I really like Roxas.
Roxas.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roxas is great.
Yeah, the Kingdom Hearts 2 tutorial is a weird one because it goes on for so long that it makes you forget that it's the tutorials.
Right. Yes. Yep. Because I remember when I first played Final Fantasy 2 in high school, it had been out, or sorry, not Final Fantasy 2. Kingdom Hearts 2 had been out for a while, and I knew the meme about the title screen coming way later in the game. But by the time I got to that point in the game, I had completely forgotten about that. So when the title screen actually came up, I was cackling. It was like, oh yeah, this. I haven't
Right.
started yet, technically. That was just the opening credits.
Yeah, I mean, it's been memed all over, obviously,
Mhm.
but like I said, I didn't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I had fun playing with the skateboards,
Yeah.
getting my
You
Tony Hawk
sure
Pro
did.
Skater on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did. It's all captured on film.
Uh-huh.
It's all there.
Mhm.
All of it.
Yep.
Yep, that was a good time.
Speaking of a tutorial that is very long, but this is one that is not atrocious because they designed it very well. The first Portal.
Yeah.
Because technically the tutorial doesn't really end until, spoilers, GLaDOS tries to dump you into fire. The whole testing thing is the tutorial.
Yeah. It really is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's like getting you acclimated to the portal gun, and you're in these semi-safe areas. Obviously, robots still kind of trying to kill you, but like it's all controlled. And then you get dropped into the fire. You escape, and turns out you're getting prepared for the whole running through the back alleys of the building. And yeah, suddenly the stakes are way higher. You don't have GLaDOS helping you out as much. It's beautiful because you don't realize you're playing a tutorial.
Yep.
Maybe like the first couple stages, and you're like, okay, yeah, now I'm playing the game, and then it breaks tradition, and you're like, oh, that was all tutorial, and it just felt perfectly natural.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird to think about, but yeah, all of the test chambers are technically tutorial, and it's the escape sequence to GLaDOS that is the actual gameplay.
Game, right?
And they disguise it so well too, because it's like, well, here's basic movement mechanics. Here's the portal gun. Here's the upgrade to the portal gun that lets you shoot 2 portals now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it very gradually gets you used to this kind of wild concept.
Yep. Yeah, and I suppose you could kind of say the same thing about Portal 2 as well, because when beginning of the game, it's more it's more Aperture Labs test chambers, but then once you clear that first batch, and then you're kind of like on your own navigating puzzles in a abandoned part of the Aperture Labs facility.
Right, you're kind of off your leash at that point.
Yep.
And yeah, that is one where they have to kind of reintroduce your previous mechanics from the previous games, but it's Valve's really good team, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yep.
And of
They're
course,
really good at doing things until it comes time to make a third.
Yeah, right. They don't have to introduce you to things a third time because they don't make third games. So you're good. That's the whole reason they don't do Portal 3 or Left 4 Dead 3. They don't want to do another tutorial.
Yeah.
They're like, we're sick of tutorials too. You don't get another game.
Yep. Yeah. Yep, they're going to release the Steam Deck 2, and then the Steam Deck 2 Episode 1, and then the Steam Deck 2 Episode 2, and then the Steam Deck Alex.
Yeah, that will be kind of fun when we eventually do get to the Steam Deck 3. There'll be a lot of people like, are they going to be able to count that high?
Oh wait, we're gonna have Steam Deck opposing forces and Steam Deck Redshift first, though. Before we get Steam Deck 2. Steam Deck Fortress Classic. Yeah, then Steam Deck Fortress 2, and then like they're doing with Proton, they're just going to iterate through each of the TF2 classes. It's like I was installing Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster on my laptop earlier today, and I like when you're installing games on Linux, it installs a couple of extra runtimes in order to, have them for running game or non Linux native games in Proton. And one of the runtimes names was Soldier, and the others was named Sniper, both of which are TF2 classes. I think I've seen Scout once as well. I think that might be runtime 1.0, when 2.0 is Soldier and 3.0 is Sniper.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen like Heavy, Pyro, Demo Man, Spy. I think I have seen Spy actually. That might be 6. But yeah, there's like additional Proton runtime libraries that it will download to use in order to run with certain games. And they're all named after TF2 classes. It has been a long while since I've played TF2 though.
Yeah. Yeah, I never got into TF2. I tried one time. I don't remember if it was we still had dial-up or what. I tried downloading it, but because of all the hats and slower internet speeds,
Yeah.
a decade ago, it was a very large file, so I was
Yeah.
not able to download it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I didn't get into, or I wasn't introduced to it until after I graduated high school.
Okay.
And it just so happened that that was right about when Valve was, or they had just turned it into a free-to-play.
Okay.
And that was when I signed up for my Steam account originally.
Okay.
Was to play TF2.
Makes sense. That might have been around the time I got a Steam account too. Was when I was trying to download TF2.
Yeah, that game doesn't really have tutorials, but it does have bot matches, which are tutorial-esque.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, that game does have tutorials. 'Cause I specifically remember learning how to rocket jump as Soldier in
Yeah.
that game. And then similarly, grenade jumping with Demo Man is the first class I tried learning how to play. Because, yeah, the Source Engine has quite an abusable system for utilizing like additional velocity from explosions in order to propel yourself faster and farther. And one of the weapons for Demo Man, it's his mine launcher gun. Comes in a variation that does no damage, but is great for both practicing or just general evasion with or the explosion jumps. So that's fun. Yeah. So the whole purpose of tutorial sections in video games is to teach you mechanics that are, generally basic mechanics for how to play the game.
Right.
And I know a lot of these are older games typically, but like I'm thinking early Super Nintendo game library earlier. So I guess Genesis games fall into this well. NES games definitely. A lot of those same mechanics that are taught to you in tutorial sections would normally be introduced to you by just reading the friendly manual that comes with the game.
That's what the F stands for in that abbreviation.
Good
to know.
Yep. Yeah. RTFM. Read the friendly manual. So through all of that, you guys have a preference one way or another towards tutorial sections versus reading the manual to learn how to play the game before you even actually play the game?
I definitely prefer in-game. Colin, I don't
Yeah,
know.
honestly, it's a lot easier to digest in context than reading and then being like,
Mhm.
oh. But that being said, there's still a lot of games that have in-game tutorials that I wish I just had a manual that I could read, but this is modern gaming and manuals don't exist for games anymore.
Right.
Manuals are
Yeah.
great as reference materials after the fact.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up. Yep.
But as a tutorial, I prefer it in the game. But like
Mhm.
an example of what I was just talking about there was like, unfortunately, one of my favorite games of all time has probably one of the worst tutorials of all time, and it's Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where
Mhm.
all the tutorials are literally just like the game stops for a second, it puts a big old text box with a picture up on the screen, and
Oh
you read
God.
that, and you read that, and that's the tutorial.
Woof.
And then every time a new gameplay mechanic is introduced, and there's a lot in the first like 10 to 15 hours of that game, because it I do appreciate that with how complex that game is, that it does break up its mechanics and space them out so that way you have time to like get used to every gameplay mechanic as it's introduced. But the way it introduces them is, here's a text box on the screen with a picture. Read it. There's your tutorial. Thanks.
Right.
I mean,
That is just
I nev-
basically a
yeah.
manual at
Yep.
that point.
Yeah.
But that stops you if you have already played the game.
Yeah.
What was I going to say?
And
Oh, I was going to say, sequelized Mega Man X mentions this of like video games have the unique opportunity to show you how to play the game when you're playing it,
yes.
which is something a game of Uno, sorry, can't do. You can't just look
It's
at the start of
Uno,
the
you
game.
know?
But you can't open up a package of Uno and be like, a deck of cards. I know how to play this game. You have to read the manual and something like that.
Yeah, and like a board game and stuff too. Same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And of course, there's always learning from your friend that is introducing this board game to you. But even then, that puts you at a big disadvantage because
Mm-hmm.
they're familiar with the game and you're not. So you're having to constantly ask questions and remember gameplay mechanics that you are just being introduced to.
Yeah. And that is why I assume you're pointing out Magic, but that is why introducing people to Magic is such a gateway to the game, is because people are like, well, you have to explain this game to me, and we're only here for 10 more minutes. That's not nearly enough time.
Yep.
Or I just don't want to learn a whole new game. So yeah, if you buy one of those early NES games that doesn't make any sense, and you have to read through the manual, and you're like, why am I doing this? Why not trade this in for a game that tells me how to play
Yeah.
or shows me how to play? It's like show don't tell,
Mhm.
but for games.
Yeah. Yeah. This and kind of a big problem with the like manual based approach is that there are definitely games out there that, because all of the information on how to play the game is in the manual, they are just kind of completely unplayable without it.
Yup.
Yeah, correct.
And
Well, yeah, that was
Yeah.
like my experience with like Sonic Advance 2. It's
Mm.
like, how was I supposed to know Artrix existed if
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have access to the manual to tell me that Artrix existed?
Right, yeah. I was actually going to bring that very thing up. That game is like, you can get through up until Sky Canyon.
Yep,
Fine.
which I
But
did.
then when you read the manual, it's like, wait, there's a homing attack for Sonic, and I don't even know if it mentions the whole thing with like the end goal thing, where if you stop sooner rather than later, you get more points. how fast you go through the end goal sign thing gives you more points based on how fast you went. There's a ton of stuff in that game that they do not explain. Some of it isn't explained in the manual, but like other stuff in there isn't. It's wild.
Yeah.
It came out around about the same time as Heroes, and Heroes has a lot of gameplay mechanic complexity that they do not explain. You have to figure it out. And like the tutorial does some job of it, but you don't want to play that tutorial normally. Because you have to listen to the tutorial child for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how fast you get through the level.
Yep.
And it's Oma Chow, so it's extremely grating instead of Tikal's nice calming voice.
Yep.
That does bring me to another thing. We talked about this some degree with like the saying like a type of button, not the actual button you press. But like there's games that have constant chatter. Not even necessarily all tutorial wise, but just like characters talking to each other. Sometimes they'll be like, looks like you might have to get up there in some way or another. Like, Sonic Forces comes to mind in addition to Heroes.
Ragnarok spoiling the puzzle. Like,
yeah,
before you even get the chance to think about what the puzzle is.
Yep.
It's like every single time you come up,
play the game.
Every single time you get to a puzzle in that game, it's like by the time you even like have a visual of the puzzle in your mind, like one of the characters that are traveling with you has already been like, yeah, you just slide the bucket over to the left a little bit and that should lower the water down and do the thing. It's like, thanks.
I appreciate it.
It's like, why even bother thinking about the puzzles at that point if they're just going to tell me right away? Yeah, that game got a lot of flack for that when it came out.
Huh. Yeah. Sonic Generations End Boss. Because this is really the first time you're playing as Supersonic and flying. All your friend characters are there because you've unlocked all of them by this point. And they all berate you with how to beat the boss. Which is also bad because how to beat the boss is also very cryptic and vague. Like, they tell you, I forget what exactly the quote is, but they're like, essentially aim for the weak spot, but they don't really explain what the weak spot is. So it's just crazy frustrating. They're telling you to do something and you don't know how to do it. And you can't say, well, excuse me, explain exactly how to do that because it's a video game. It's not that interactive yet. So yeah. That's definitely one where like it's explaining something but not well enough. And then it just becomes annoying.
Yeah. The bad explanation is almost worse than not explaining it at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if they don't stop talking too. One thing that's annoying is when the tutorial gets more intense if you don't do what it's saying. An example in like video games would be Mario Kart. If you turn around and go the wrong way, not only is there a sign saying turn around, but also there's an alarm going off telling you to turn around. And maybe you just want to go backwards. What's wrong with that? Just trying to explore the level.
Yeah.
A custom level I made in the game Last Legacy, which was mentioning earlier in the what we've been playing. I made a level where like the tutorial bot is part of the challenge, but also is just there to be amusingly annoying. And you come up to a building and it pops up and says press up to open doors. If you walk by the building, it says press up to open doors. And then if you keep walking, it just says that repeatedly until you get to a wall and it's like, you can't go this way. Turn back. And then you turn around and it tells you press up to open doors one more time just to kind of joke about that exact thing of tutorials will get more intense because they think, oh, well, he's confused, but actually, it's usually I'm just exploring for the heck of it, and you're annoying me now. Like meanwhile, in some games like Mario Odyssey, if you go off the beaten path, instead they have rewards for you with I forget what the collectibles are in that game, but early Sonic games, the Genesis Sonic games, did this as well with item boxes hidden in places where you're like, the developers never thought you'd go this way, and it's like, oh no, they did.
Well, should we move along to our next segment here?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Okay. Our next segment is our weekly link to the past. And this week, turning 14 years old on the date of recording, which is July 20th. This game released back in 2011. The game
Again,
Bastion.
I feel old.
Released
Yeah.
on the Xbox 360. This is the first game from Supergiant Games, which would later go on to develop Hades.
Okay.
Ah.
And
Yeah.
never
This
really.
one makes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, but you go ahead.
I was gonna say I didn't look at the date on this right away, but I opened the Wikipedia page and it's got a little picture of the box and and some gameplay. And I was like, okay, this looks like a more recent game. And then you said 2011.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Never got to
the
play
art
this
style is
one
very
back in
good.
the day, but yeah, the art style is really pretty, and it definitely put Supergiant on the map back then.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a really strong first release for them. It was well received critically, so then they
Available
followed it
on
up with
Mac
a
OS
game
X.
called Transistor, I think. And then there was like
That
one
sounds
more,
familiar.
and then Hades.
Transistor, Pyre, and then Hades.
Yeah, that's right.
Pyre. Do not recognize Pyre. Transistor, however, I remember. Also a beautiful art style. This is just their thing, is beautiful
Yeah.
art style.
Yeah, they've got
Semi-manga.
very strong art direction.
Yeah.
Incredibly strong art direction in their games. It's very, very it's very them, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Right.
Like you can look at their games, you can be like, that looks like a Supergiant game.
Right. Trying to think of other.
But yeah, that game is 14 years old already. As 2011 was 14 years ago.
14 years ago.
already.
Oh god.
I hate it. Yeah, that was the year I began my 5-year slave run in the burger factory.
Yeah.
It was February of 2011.
Yeah. I would join 2 years later in October of 2013.
Yeah. It's so long ago. I hate it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here we are once again complaining about how old we are in the Halo or the Link to the Past segment. Let's just let's just move on.
That's the alternate name of the segment is
God, we're old.
God, we're old. Welcome to the God, we're old segment of the show, where we realize how old we are.
Anyway, that's the end of episode 78. Lucas, where can you be found outside the podcast?
You can find me on Linktree at linktr.ee/Karn_evil_999. It's got links to join or follow me on Twitter that I no longer use, Blue Sky that I use. Add me on Steam if you want to play games with me there. Link to my YouTube channel where I play long plays of the games we talk about on our That One Game series of episodes. Link to join our podcast Discord where you can interact with us and whatnot. And of course, a link to catch up on all 77 other episodes of this podcast. That's at linktr.ee/Karn_evil_999.
And how about Neal?
I am also on Linktree, linktr.ee/VMK9. I got links to my Twitch where I do Minecraft Monday, a bunch of podcast links, my old Twitter/X account, and my old YouTube account. So yeah, really only the Twitch and obviously the podcast stuff is relevant these days. But I imagine you're familiar with our podcast if you're listening here. But either way, Colin, where can they find you?
You can find me in the trees at linktr.ee/deliciousmorsels. It's where my YouTube channels and my blue skies and all those things they are at. I got a new video out this week. I covered the opening theme from the first season of Demon Slayer because the final season just kicked off in Japan and broke box office records for the series. So, yeah, should go check that out. It's really good. I can't pronounce the name of the song, so I'm not going to try. But it's one of the most iconic anime openings of since it came out in 2019. It's a Lisa opening, so obviously it's good. Yeah, but yeah, that's that. linktr.ee/deliciousmorsels. And that's that. As always, if you liked what you heard here today, please be sure to hit the subscribe button where that's an option. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts because I hear they like that stuff. Hit the like button if that's a thing, and feel free to share this episode with a friend. We are going to be back in a couple weeks with another episode, but until then, have a wonderful rest of your day, and remember...
Play for the cows.
Stay for the tutorials.